Hey guys, we are back with a Dokkan video. Wow, it's been like 7 million years since we had some global news here, but I am joined by Truth and Toon Rami. We are going to be discussing, as you can see, new Dokkan event coming soon. Not only one, but two announcements in the news here. And to make things even better, is we have a same time celebration on both global and JP. So, what are your guys' initial impressions from seeing this right here? The Goku and then the Vegeta announcement for GT.
My honest first gut reaction was when I saw the Vegeta, I thought that this was going to be baby related, because that shot of Vegeta powering up reminded me of the point in the show where he powers up with all those cuts on his arm and then baby makes his way in. So that was my gut instinct reaction. But then looking at it and looking at all the other texts and everything, it's probably not. But yeah, that was my first thought. And then the other thing was the fact that this is happening on global and JP. I now fully understand the reason why Truth keeps pushing for global and JP being on the same timeline. I get it now, because there's nothing like that feeling. Like being a global player and having to wait 6 months for this, like it totally hits different when you're knowing that you're getting it at the same time.
Yeah, I think it's just the community. It's just way healthier for the community overall.
Absolutely.
When both versions are getting at the same time, like, you know, people can do their little meme like, oh, but now I can't save stones and stuff like that. But it's like, dude, it's just way better if it's here, right? You get to actually, you know, when the super attack animations come out and they're godly amazing, you know, global players can be happy and excited because you could get them tomorrow too, right? It's not, oh boy, November is gonna be sick, right? It's like, oh yeah, they come out tomorrow. So I really have wanted global to catch up, because like the, you know, sort of supposed global shadow, what it really is just the shadow of being months and months behind. You get rid of that, and I think a lot of the other BS that accompanies global would sort of go away. So this is good. Like, we haven't had like global and GP like dual Dokkan Fest same time in freaking April before. So yeah. Like I'm very pleased. Like, me personally, I think this is like best case scenario for sort of this like, you know, mysterious like May time slot where there's nothing really for global to have. So it's got to be something new, and I think this is awesome.
And I think in particular, this is even better for Golden Week specifically, because you think of the global timeline right now, and Golden Week releases, you know, end of April / early May for JP, and then it doesn't come to global until November, Thanksgiving. Not even like, it's generally like middle of November. So think about, we have the anniversary in July on global, then we have the worldwide celebration that's, you know, late August / early September, going into mid-September. So by the time these guys come around on global, nobody really has much stones saved up, and it's really like, you know, less hype units. If you look at the past few years, Gotenks and Boo, are you really going to be saving for Gotenks and Boo over Blue Vegito and Gogeta and then transforming Super Vegito? Probably not. So the fact that this is releasing now on global is actually giving people a chance to get these guys because they actually have stones available. And then, you know, again, we talked about the syncing up of the versions pretty much every year at this point, but this is really a major step towards achieving that if they want to go down that path, because, you know, you take a look at how many celebrations we have at this point throughout the year that are celebrated at the same time on both versions. You have Saiyan Day, you have Golden Week now, right? Assuming this is going to continue into next year as well. You have the worldwide celebration. I mean, a lot of these celebrations are now celebrated together. Heroes in November is usually celebrated together, so they are slowly creeping their way into a situation where they could legitimately line up both versions permanently to having the same schedule. But we will see if that continues. But so basically, taking a look at what these are going to be, clearly it's going to be Vegeta. I actually agree with you, Toon, because I looked at this and I was like, okay, this is probably going to be a baby, because that's what we were expecting. But if you take a look at the actual description of the event here and take a look at what he's talking about or whatever, this doesn't really appear to be anything baby related, because they would have indicated something about baby in the description here, and there's just nothing to do with that. And then the fact that it's just Super Saiyan Goku and Super Saiyan Vegeta here probably tells me that it's either going to be, you know, one of those earth-shaking showdown things where it's a multi, you know, 4 or 5 transforming unit.
That's
every
what
turn.
I'm thinking right now. Yeah. I think so.
It's like every turn they would transform to the next stage or whatever.
I don't know. Honestly, Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, look at the last couple Dokkan Fests they've done on G. Like, you know, Broly, Videl, Trunks, and Goten are all ridiculous. So like, I'm seeing a lot of people are like, oh, the transforming Goku, Vegeta, and Frieza aren't really that great. But like, at least Frieza of all three, when he came out, I was saying he was like top 3 TUR or something like that back then. Like his link set, he's really good. I think that even if these Goku and Vegeta are transforming units every turn, I think they're going to be very good. Like, I think that they will be able to make them correctly. Like, if they're stacking like the other ones, literally, if they just keep the stacking in their final form, that sort of fixes the issues they can have in long events. Because that's kind of the thing that's a shame about those units, right? Is you want them for long events, right? So you could see all their transformations, but it's counterintuitive because then they don't stack once you hit that final level. So I think if like these ones stack, but then just keep it in the final form, then already that does like single them into long content where they'll be super very good.
And I know like the popular opinion has been that transforming units suck, but honestly, the reason why they're always in every banner is because they're generally some of the more accessible units for newer players. So having the game kind of return to form by bringing some of those types of units back, but having them more streamlined to fit the new meta, I think is also good for just overall optics of the game. So having now this new transforming standard be Super Saiyan 4 Vegeta, Super Saiyan 4 Goku, obviously, yeah, like Truth said, they can get better with the times with what kind of units we have now. I think that would be really good. So, yeah, plus, like, looking at these two arts, like, it just doesn't look like it's going to be anything, like, actually from GT. It's GT themed, but it's something more catered towards just having 2 transforming Dokkan units.
And if you take a look at the actual name of the event, it's Earth-Shaking Showdown, and there's 3 characters that all have that same, sort of theme with the name. So to me, what that indicates is they had plans for there to be more characters that have that same type of Dokkan event, right? I mean, eventually we're probably going to get a Cell with that. We're probably going to get a Boo with that same name Dokkan event. So, them having the same Dokkan event names for all these different characters is probably just telling me that they always had plans to have more characters with that same type of unit attached to them. So it makes sense that would be the case. Another thing we could be looking at here is the potential for this to be the introduction of the revival mechanic for global. If I'm not mistaken, the global version already has all of the required assets in the game, the database, for them to actually get that in the game. So it wouldn't be completely out of the question for them to get this, but it's probably less likely than the first option. And then the second option is just looking back at the past 2 years of Golden Week. We have the Trunks and Zamasu, and then the Gotenks and Boo, who both had, a traditional transformation mechanic into their second form, and then they had a active skill transformation mechanic into their third and final form. So we could be looking at that again for this one. Maybe it's going to be like a Super Saiyan Vegeta who goes into, I guess it would be Super Saiyan 2 Vegeta via traditional transformation mechanic, and then you would go from Super Saiyan 2 into Super Saiyan 4. And then the same thing for Goku over here, which he would start at a Super Saiyan, going maybe into Super Saiyan 3 via traditional transformation. Then his active skill would be, the maybe Golden Grade Ape animation, then he goes back into Super Saiyan 4 or something like that. So that could be something that we're looking at too. It's not really, anything that we could tell just from looking at the coming soon thing. But one other point I wanted to just make you guys aware of is that the other past Dokkan event, the coming soon messages that we've seen for LRs, for Dokkan Fest LRs, did not specify anywhere in the message at all that these units were going to be LRs. So these could be LRs. I mean, the past 4 or 5 years of Golden, there's never been a Dokkan Fest LR for Golden Week ever. But, Dokkan has been doing a bunch of different things this year, at least on JP, so potentially we could see an LR for these characters. I don't know. What do you guys think about them being LRs?
Well, I know it's already going to be a tricky banner to summon on, because, this just seems ideal for them to slide in the LR Super Saiyan 4s anyway. So bare minimum, it's going to be an 8 features unit banner.
Yeah.
I could then see these guys being LRs, stretch it out to 10. It could be cool. These would be the first LRs that would be these transforming every turn, too. That would be interesting. But the only thing about that, they would have too many super attacks at that point, though, right? Like a 12 and 18 key for all of those forms? That would be wild. Could you imagine? It's just
yeah.
Super attacks. That would be crazy.
That is I would say, if you take a look at the multi-transforming Earth-Shaking Showdown units that have come out, the big criticism that people had for them was that their animations were very bad, right? If you take a look at the sort of like in-between forms that they had, so like Goku, up until the blue form, his animations were pretty bad. Same thing with Frieza. Vegeta, I mean, have maybe like one or two new little things thrown in there, but for the most part, his were also not great. So, I mean, yeah, that is a good point. The animations could potentially be a little bit lackluster for those in-between forms for them.
Yeah, I think Vegeta had one unique animation that was built for that unit, and then the rest were just like reused stuff from other units.
Yeah, like the Super Saiyan 2 one, I think was a new one, and then the God one was kind of new, but the God one was terrible anyway. It was just like his face looked weird.
Yeah, exactly.
His face is so bad in the God one.
All right.
I don't know about transforming LR myself. I don't really have much to add there, but yeah, I mean, look, if there's any time for them to try something crazy and new, it's this time, because they're already just going above and beyond. So why not go crazy with it?
Yeah. And then just to potentially speculate about what we could be seeing here, again, I'm assuming the final forms of both of these characters are going to be Super Saiyan 4 Vegeta and Goku, because that's, GT is basically Super Saiyan 4 land. So taking a look at the existing LR Super Saiyan 4s that we have in the game for Goku and Vegeta, I'm just taking a look at their categories, because that's what's really interesting me in terms of what these guys can be leading for the leader skills, and then also the categories they could be helping out. So taking a look at Goku, the big ones that come to mind, I have them pulled up here. Turtle School, obviously this is not on global yet, because this is a category that releases during the 6-year anniversary, but even before it comes out on global, it could still get a massive massive boost from this Goku, right?
Yeah, and they've released so many categories early on global, right? Like, I think this guy easily could be a Turtle School leader, and then that would still be fine, because then global just gets the amazing Turtle School support unit during 6-year anniversary. So I don't think that would really hurt the 6-year anniversary, right?
Yeah, actually would help it, because again, like you just said, having this guy under a better leader for his specific category that he helps out in his passive, like that would help a lot.
Yep.
And then we have Giant
get
Power.
Another massive Pure Saiyans leader.
Yeah, I mean, I was thinking about Pure Saiyans. I think actually, if you take a look at the Super Saiyan 4s in terms of like what they represent, the form itself, I think Pure Saiyans actually does make sense, because it's sort of like the primal Saiyan power, or whatever you want to call it. Yep. But for me, I think what they're going to be doing with Pure Saiyans, because if you give one of these guys Pure Saiyans, I feel like you kind of have to give the other one Pure Saiyans, because then one of these guys having Pure Saiyans is just going to make them so much more valuable than the other one by default, right? I think what they're going to be doing with the Pure Saiyan lead, because we're very, very past due for a new Pure Saiyan lead at this point, they're going to save that for a massive Dokkan Fest LR that they're going to release. And I just don't see these guys having it, but, maybe. Turtle School, going to help them a lot. Potentially could see a Turtle School leader for the Goku. Giant 8 Power, we just got a Giant 8 Power leader with Gogeta, maybe a secondary leader skill for Giant 8 Power. And then Shadow Dragon Saga. We just had Gogeta end up leading Shadow Dragon Saga, but Gogeta does not give a 170% buff to the Shadow Dragon Saga. He is also a 150 across the board buff for this category, which I thought was pretty weird at the time, because it's not like this category would be busted or anything with him giving 170. To that category, but maybe they were holding off on that because they knew that this was something that was coming, and this could be a Vegeta. What if they did this, right? What if they did Giant 8 Power for both Goku and Vegeta, and then Vegeta's secondary lead was a 170 Shadow Dragon Saga lead, and then the Goku secondary lead was a 170 for Turtle School?
Only reason why I'm not sure would be because he never went Super Saiyan Vegeta until after, like, he was at the tail end of his fight, right? He was never Super Saiyan Vegeta before he went Super Saiyan 4, right?
Yeah, but this could also just be I think you mentioned this before, where it's like not specifically them from a point in the show, but it's more just them being GT, right?
Right, yeah. But that's the only reason why I'm hesitant to say that he could be Shadow Dragon, but it's still possible.
Well, I mean, if he's going to Super Saiyan 4, that's only the Shadow Dragon arc.
Yeah.
Right. But starting out as a Super Saiyan Vegeta GT, that only happens after the Super Saiyan 4 portion is done, right? It's at the very end.
For this type of unit, I don't think that matters.
Yeah, I think it's just a thematic thing.
Right. Yeah.
So, I mean, those are the types of leader skills I would kind of like to see. I mean, to be realistic, we're probably going to be getting a new category of some kind for at least one of these guys. I have no idea what that would be. Some people have been suggesting a just straight up GT category. They could do that.
I feel like it could work, yeah.
Would they both get it? Or because what does that do to the Shadow Dragon category? They didn't even want to give us a 170 lead for that.
I guess they could give both of them, backup GT category, 150, 130, 140, something like that. And then, Vegeta could be Shadow Dragon Saga 170, and then Goku could be, again, Turtle School 170. GT could just sort of be a backup for them. That's just how they could do it, right? Because, they still have stuff like, you know, Universe 11, which all those characters are still in like Universal Survival Saga type thing.
That's
So, I
true.
mean,
Yeah.
GT would definitely be interesting with that Universal GT link, with so many potential EZAs, Majub, Sin Shenron, the OG 2 Anniversary Super Saiyan 4s, right? Like sort of spread out all over GT, right? Because like if the OG 2 Anniversary Super Saiyan 4s get EZAs, remember that Super Saiyan 4 Goku's from the Baby Saga, not the Shadow Dragon Saga. So like if it's a full GT lineup, that would be good for him.
Yeah, and that's sort of the last point I wanted to discuss, which is what we could potentially see in terms of other things outside of just these 2 Dokkan Fests for this. I mean, you know, Thank You Celebration / Golden Week is a big celebration. It's one of the major ones throughout the year. I would say it's probably one of the lesser hype dual Dokkan Fest celebrations, but regardless, it is still a dual Dokkan Fest celebration, so it's pretty big. You know, V-Jump showed us that we're going to get the, well, at least JP for now, we know for sure, is going to be getting the GT-themed Legendary Goku event. It's supposed to come out on Goku Day, which is May 9th, which should still be within the boundaries of the celebration, right? Because this is coming out, I believe, in 2 days from now.
Yeah,
by the way,
that dual Dokkan Fest, like you basically just file away a full month, and like that's anything in the next month and is involving them. Basically, it's like May 30th or May 31st. It basically is like a celebration involving these 2.
So by the way, this video is going up like early in the AM on the 25th. I expect to get these guys in game on the 27th. So a few days from now, we'll be seeing them. Tomorrow, we'll get the Twitter reveals for both versions. So we will find out how they are going to look. But again, in terms of other things we could be seeing, definitely that Legendary Goku GT event is going to be coming to JP, as well as LRB Pan's EZA. I would assume that LRB Pan's EZA is also coming to Global, but in terms of the Legendary Goku event for GT, I'm not sure if that's also coming to Global or not. I would think it probably would, but given how they've handled ESPR and things of that nature, I don't really know for sure if I could say, oh, it's definitely coming. I'm not going to say it's definitely coming because it's we've seen them not do things like that before.
I will say I do think it is coming, though.
I agree, yeah, but you can't say with 100% certainty.
Yeah. Unfortunately, with Global, you cannot.
At this point, I'll even take ESBRs, like the stages that JP has yet to give Global. I'll take those.
Yeah,
will you now? Yeah, I'm sure you will.
I mean, because a lot of people were expecting those ESPR stages to come out during the PyCon and Janemba celebration because, you know, it's been forever, right? And we didn't get it, and now this might be the reason why we didn't get it, is because the direct next celebration is going to be a combined celebration. Worldwide download celebration, we saw that JP received the stages, Global got different stages, so it looks like for these combined celebrations they like releasing new ESPR batches for both versions, but obviously JP's ahead by 1 iteration. So looks like JP potentially could be getting 10 more ESPR stages while Global gets the first 10 category ones. So, I mean, at least it's only for Global, so I'll take it. I've been wanting those category SPR stages for a long time, so hopefully that does finally happen for Global. And then the EZAs, again, I mean, we obviously do have the LR Super Saiyan 4s. Not LR Super Saiyan 4s, the OG Super Saiyan 4s, right? We have the STR Goku, and then we have the AGL Super Saiyan 4 Vegeta that have suspiciously not been EZA'd yet on either version, so it's looking like these could be very likely. Maybe, what if they just did both, right?
Yeah, I honestly, I expect both.
Yeah.
So, I mean, keep that in mind. We have the potential to get, well, obviously JP's guaranteed to get B-Pan's EZA, so Global probably will get that as well. We could be getting Majub's EZA. We could be getting the Super Saiyan 2 GT Goku's EZA in the Hero Extermination event, stuff like that. I mean, there's a lot coming here, so that's pretty much what we're looking at for this GT theme celebration. I keep saying this every single time we have a big GT celebration coming up, but they do GT theme celebrations so rarely in this game that whenever they do them, there's so much content they have to cover. Like, we could even be getting Rildo's Awakening finally, the SDR Rildo. Yep. There's a lot they could do here.
Please.
When you also think about like all the characters that have released before they really turned to these amazing animations and after, almost all of the GT characters in the game were from before the good animations. Even the LR Super Saiyan 4s were made before they sort of like, you know, up their level for animations. So really, you could say everything in game besides like Goku, Trunks, and Pan and Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta can all be replaced. Even the LR Super Saiyan 4s with their mid animations, all of it can be replaced. So.
Yeah, and then I think the next sub EZA that was supposed to come out is Sin Shenron, right?
Yep.
So he could be getting one.
Yeah.
I mean, they could throw this guy out to get one. Who knows what they're gonna do here?
If they EZA him, I think they would EZA the STR Super Saiyan 3 Goku with him.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Yep, because those are the other 2 units that awaken with medals from the Super Saiyan 4 events. But then there's also the Physical Pan, the SCR Trunks. Like, there's so many units, so many teams. Like, focusing on GT for all, I think actually would be very healthy for the game.
I mean, they want to be ambitious.
Yeah. If he keeps that 70%, he is just the god of everything.
I mean, they're not going to take it away.
Yeah, so you know what that means. Look out for him. That's what that means.
I don't think this is realistic, but I didn't think UI Goku getting one during the 6 year was realistic either, so who knows?
Yeah, I would have said, no way before that happened, right? Like 5 minutes before it happened, I would have said, you're crazy.
Yeah. All right, well, I think that's pretty much all I have to cover for with potentially coming to global. I mean, we know these 2 things are coming to global, but this could be one of the greatest celebrations ever for Dokkan, especially in global. So with that said, hope you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know down below what you guys think about the fact that we are getting a same time Golden Week celebration, which is something we actually talked about earlier in the podcast, but I literally said, I don't think this is possible. And here we are, like 5 hours later here, so... Yeah, hope you guys enjoyed this. Thank you to Toonrami and Truth for joining me in the video, and I will see you guys all in the next one.
Bye-bye.